Hi everyone, welcome to the Witching Hour. It's time for a spoiler warning because today I'll be recapping The Lesser Evil from the book The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. Depending on how they present it, I do believe that this is one of the stories that will be told in the show. The principal characters are all listed on IMDb. Speaking of the show, according to BGR, rumors of the November 1st release date for the Witcher Netflix series have been denied. The date was originally posted by someone that claimed to be a producer for Netflix. It's still unclear if the person even works for Netflix. I guess we'll all have to wait and see. Now getting back to The Lesser Evil. This short story explains how Geralt earned the name the Butcher of Blaviken. Geralt goes to Blaviken and looks for Alderman Caldemain. He's hoping for payment for the Kikamora that he killed a few miles outside of town. The Kikamora is a huge insect-looking creature. Caldemain shifted from foot to foot, looking at the spidery shape with its black skin, that glassy eye with its vertical pupil, the needle-like fangs, and the bloody jaws. The alderman said he would not be able to pay him, but one of his guards suggested that he go to see the town wizard, Master Irion. Off they went to see him, but when they arrived, he denied them entry until he realized that Geralt was there. He invited Geralt and sent the others on their way. When the Witcher got inside, he was shocked to find the wizard was a familiar face. His name was Stregobor. Stregobor let Geralt know right off the bat that he was not going to pay him for the Kikamora, but he did have a job for him, and the two of them meeting up must be destiny. Geralt was obviously not a fan of Stregobor's because of a previous run-in. The wizard recounts a story that is very reminiscent of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or in this case, the Seven Gnomes. It all started with the Curse of the Black Sun, also known as Mania the Mad Etobald. Good families, sometimes noble ones, were torn apart by the belief that children born around the same time as a particular eclipse were tainted. Evil supposedly lived inside of them. The afflicted were either killed or locked away in towers. Which brings us to the threat against Stregobor. There was a princess that felt wronged by Stregobor and her stepmother, Eridea. The stepmother had a magical mirror. Does that sound familiar? It told her that she would meet a terrible death. Many other people would die also. Once Stregobor performed some tests and informed Eridea of the results, Renfri, the young princess, was sent out in the woods with a huntsman to be killed. Instead of killing her, he raped her. She got the better of him and stuck a brooch pin through his ear. That was one huntsman she would never have to worry about again. They continued to chase the child and send people to kill her. Information was carried back to Eridea that Renfri was living with 7 gnomes. They robbed merchants, and the girl killed many of her victims by running them through with a sharp pole, earning her the nickname Shrike. Eventually, Eridea was poisoned. There were rumors it was Fredefalk, Renfri's father, wanting to trade her in for a younger model, but Stregobor believed that it was Renfri. Not long after, the wizard ran into Shrike. He cast a spell on her and narrowly got away, but a prince found her and freed her from her curse. Over the passing years, Shrike tried to kill Stregobor multiple times. The wizard was unable to cast another spell on her because she somehow became immune to magic. Stregobor begged Geralt to kill Renfri for him, but Geralt refused him because he's a monster killer. He doesn't kill humans. Stregobor said, "She's not human. She's exactly a monster. A mutant. A cursed mutant. You brought a Kikamora here. Shrike's worse than a Kikamora. A Kikamora kills because it's hungry, but Shrike does it for pleasure. Kill her, and I'll pay you whatever sum you ask. Within reason, of course." Geralt's final response to Stregobor was, "Evil is evil, Stregobor. Lesser, greater, middling, it's all the same. Proportions are negotiated, boundaries blurred. I'm not a pious hermit. I haven't done only good in my life. But if I'm to choose between one evil and another, then I prefer not to choose at all." Geralt went to the Golden Court to find Shrike with the alderman, but Geralt proceeded to the alcove that Shrike and her crew were staying in, alone. When the Witcher arrived at the alcove, Shrike was nowhere to be found, and her crew tried multiple times to goad Geralt into a fight. They almost got their wish when Shrike walked in. Geralt turned round very slowly and looked into eyes the color of the sea. She was almost as tall as him. She wore her straw-colored hair unevenly cut just below the ears. She stood with one hand on the door, wearing a tight velvet jacket clasped with a decorated belt. Her skirt was uneven, asymmetrical, reaching down to her calf on the left side and on the right side revealing a strong thigh above a boot made of elk's leather. On her left side she carried a sword, on her right a dagger with a huge ruby set in its pommel. Geralt accompanied Renfrey out to where the alderman was. The alderman challenged her as to her reason for being in town, and informed her that there was to be no trouble while she was in town. She had news for him, though. She had a decree from the lord of the area instructing that anyone that treated her badly would be punished. Caldemain tried to act like he could still punish her if she broke the law, but it was all an act. He quickly left. Renfrey and Geralt verbally spar one another for a few more minutes before Geralt leaves. It was almost midnight. Geralt lunged on someone hiding in his room. It turned out to be Renfrey. She flirted with him, but her main reason for coming to see him was to try and convince him to kill Stregobor for her. She gave him an ultimatum. There was only 2 ways that she would not slaughter the townspeople of Blaviken. Both ended in Stregobor's death. Either Stregobor would surrender himself, or the Witcher could go in and kill him with some mercy. She told him more of the story Stregobor started, and the devastation she had to withstand because of Stregobor and her stepmother. She told him of them trying to poison her. With an apple seasoned with nightshade. I was saved by a gnome and an emetic I thought would turn my insides out, but I survived. She pleaded with him to kill Stregobor. Are you a Witcher, or aren't you, damn it? They say you killed a Kikamora and brought it here on a donkey to get a price for it. Stregobor is worse than the Kikamora. It's just a mindless beast which kills because that's how the gods made it. Stregobor is a brute, a true monster. Bring him to me on a donkey and I won't begrudge you any sum you care to mention. He did the same as he had done with Stregobor. He denied the request. He wanted her to understand that he did not believe in the lesser evil. She said, You don't believe in it, you say? Well, you're right in a way. Only evil and greater evil exist, and beyond them, in the shadows, lurks true evil. True evil, Geralt, is something you can barely imagine. Even if you believe, nothing can still surprise you, and sometimes true evil seizes you by the throat and demands you choose between it and another, slightly lesser evil. He responded, And in the midnight's past the way it does. Let's speak plainly. You're not going to kill Stregobor and Blaviken because I'm not going to let you. I'm not going to let it come to a slaughter here. So for the second time, renounce your revenge. Prove to him, to everyone, that you're not an inhuman and bloodthirsty monster. Prove he has done you great harm through his mistake. She eventually agreed with him after much debate, and another story about the hell she went through because of Stregobor. The next morning came, and Geralt told the alderman that she was not going to wreak havoc at the market. That is, until the alderman happened to tell the Witcher a story about one of her crew. It was the story of Tridom. They seized a ferry boat and demanded that they set their friends free. The Baron refused, so they started killing the pilgrims on the ferry. He ended up giving them what they wanted to save the rest of the pilgrims. He chose the lesser of the 2 evils. Geralt went to the marketplace to stop the slaughter. One of Renfrey's men delivered a message from her to Geralt. I am what I am. Choose. Either me or a lesser. A fight ensued, and after much work, Geralt killed all of Renfrey's men. She walked up, and Geralt pleaded with her just to walk away, but she couldn't. This would be her last fight. Shrike was no match for the Witcher. After he did her in, Stregobor came, relieved that Geralt had taken out his foe, but Geralt was far from happy. He was upset that he was forced to choose the lesser evil. He refused to allow Stregobor to perform an autopsy on her. Stregobor wasted no time returning to Kovir. He left the town that was almost slaughtered because of him without a second thought. The alderman then banished Geralt from Blaviken, and from that point on he was known as the Butcher of Blaviken. Now, let's recap the Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs similarities. Princess, check. Envious stepmother, check. Huntsman, check. 7 little people, check. Poisoned apple, check. I don't think you could get much closer than that. If you'd like to see more content, please subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. I hope y'all have a great day. Bye, guys.